Hey there and welcome. Today, we're diving into business SMS compliance. Now, I know it might sound a little dry, but trust me, getting this right is absolutely crucial for building customer trust and, just as important, avoiding some seriously massive fines. So let's get into it.
Texting is one of the most powerful tools you have for connecting with your audience. It's so immediate, so personal. But, and this is a big but, with that power comes a huge responsibility. So before you even think about launching that first campaign, you've got to understand the risks, because the penalties for messing this up, well, they can be devastating.
And when I say devastating, I mean it. Check this out. Under what's called the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, or TCPA, a single non-compliant text can cost you up to $1,500. Now, here's the really scary part. That's not a one-time thing. It's per message. You can see how that financial risk could spiral out of control, like really fast. So don't worry, we're going to break this all down into easy, manageable parts. We'll kick things off with the regulatory landscape. Then we'll dive deep into the golden rule of consent. After that, we'll get super practical with a compliance playbook and wrap up by looking at why this is about so much more than just checking a box. First up, let's talk about the rules of the road. I mean, before you can build a solid messaging program, you have to know the laws that govern the space. And this isn't just a US issue, it's a whole global web of regulations you need to be aware of. All right, so if you're texting anyone in the United States, the TCPA is the big one. And the phrase you need to burn into your brain is prior express written consent. This basically means you need clear, documented permission from someone before you send them marketing texts. Just having them as a customer isn't enough anymore, not even close. And if you have any customers over in the European Union, well, you've got a whole other beast to tackle, GDPR. It sets an even higher bar for privacy. Why? Because it really treats data privacy as a fundamental human right. Under GDPR, you can't just bury consent in your terms of service. It has to be super specific and unambiguous. Oh, and the penalties? They can be up to 4% of your global annual revenue. Yeah, you heard that. So this table kind of lays it all out. You see the TCPA and GDPR, but notice the CAN-SPAM Act too. Even though it started with email, it really established a bedrock principle for everything that followed. Customers must have a clear and easy way to opt out. That idea, combined with the strict consent rules from TCPA and GDPR, it all points to one central theme: giving the consumer control. And all of this brings us to the single most important concept in this entire world: consent. Seriously, this isn't just a part of the process. It is the entire foundation that everything else is built on. Get this right, and you're golden. So, what does good consent actually look like? Well, it has to be three things: explicit, documented, and verifiable. The days of just assuming you have permission are long, long gone. You need a crystal clear record that shows exactly when, where, and how a person agreed to get your messages. Because in the eyes of regulators, if you can't prove it, it never happened. And this slide just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old, sneaky ways of doing things, burying permission in the fine print or using those annoying pre-checked boxes. Regulators see right through that. But on the right, that's the gold standard. Clear language, an unchecked box the user has to actively click, and an agreement that stands on its own. Now, if you want the absolute strongest proof of consent, the double opt-in is your best friend. It's simple. After someone signs up, you send a quick confirmation text, and they have to reply to finalize it. This process creates a bulletproof audit trail. It proves the user genuinely wants to hear from you, and that you've got the ready phone number. It protects everybody. And this is non-negotiable. Just as important as getting permission is honoring the request to end it. It has to be as simple to opt out as it was to opt in. A single keyword reply like stop is the industry standard, and you have to act on that request immediately. No questions asked. Okay, so we've talked about the why. Now let's get into the how. This is your playbook, the practical day-to-day actions and tools you need to stay on the right side of the line. And what's really fascinating is that a huge number of compliance failures don't come from some complex legal trap. Nope. Get this, 40% of rejections come from a simple mismatch in what you said you were going to do, and another 25% are just basic clerical errors. These are totally preventable mistakes. So a huge part of this is knowing the difference between your message types. Transactional messages are things your customer is expecting, like shipping alerts or appointment reminders. But promotional messages, Well, they're trying to sell something, and they fall under much stricter rules. And be careful. If you try to sneak a little promotion into a transactional message, the whole thing gets treated as promotion.
Think of this as your compliance insurance policy. If you ever face an audit or a legal challenge, this is the proof you'll need. You have to record everything: when they consented, the exact words they saw, where they opted in, and, of course, a full archive of every single message and every single opt-out request.
But here's the good news. You don't have to do all this alone. Technology can help a lot. This number shows that when businesses use tools to run quick pre-flight compliance checks, they can hit a 90% approval rate. It just goes to show that being proactive and checking your work before you hit send really pays off. Okay, for our last section, I want to zoom out a little bit, because this isn't just about avoiding legal trouble. When you do it right, strong compliance is actually a powerful way to build a better, more trusted business.
You know, there's a quote in the source material that just hits the nail on the head. It's this idea that compliance isn't some chore you have to suffer through. It's an opportunity to show your customers that you respect their time, their privacy, and their inbox.
And that's the real takeaway here. Every single rule we've talked about, from getting explicit consent to making opt-outs easy, it's all designed to put the user in control. And when you honor that, you're not just being compliant. You are actively building a foundation of trust. That trust leads to higher engagement, a better brand reputation, and loyal customers, which is way more valuable than any single marketing campaign. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Every text you send is doing one of two things. It's either a welcomed, valued interaction, or it's an unwelcome intrusion. By making compliance a core part of your culture, you ensure you're always on the right side of that equation, turning every single message into another brick in the foundation of your customer relationships.